Okay, now that I have my original, I gave it to my teacher, who's myself, and I went through and I made a copy of it. So I had a kind of colored paper behind it, so you can really be able to see the outside design. And it doesn't matter at this point which one you want to hang on for your master, which one you want to have for your copy. I guess if you had a colored one and you want to stay true to the colors, you might want to keep this as your master and cut apart the black and white one. So. But I'm just gonna grab this one. I'll cut this one out. And I have a green cutting board that you can use when you use this, because you don't want to cut it on the tables at all. You need to have something like this, or sometimes we'll have carpet or we'll have cardboard, just something that protects that. And then you also have an X-Acto blade, and these are in the tall cabinet in the 3D lab where you guys are at. And there's a pocket that has these in here so you can get this cut out. But your next step is to go in and cut. Some lines it might be easier to cut with a pair of scissors. Other ones you definitely want to kind of use this for. But I'm just gonna start here. I'm gonna come down and just get this as a nice straight line cut. And this is, like we talk about things you could do at home. This is definitely something you could do at your house. Like on a weekend or after a Wednesday, if we don't school on a Wednesday or whatever, and kind of go from there. Go around this whole thing. Okay, after this, I'm gonna start going in. I guess I gotta cut this one apart. Okay, after those are cut, I'm gonna start cutting these individual ones apart. And this is where it really helps having, those direction lines, because I know now that because this is separate, it's not a part of the whole, so I can't tell easily. But having that off the side, I can tell. But I'm gonna go through this. If you're ripping it, ask me for a new blade so I can give you a new blade at least. But I'm gonna spend the time kind of cutting this apart. And then you'll ask me for an envelope so you can put your pieces in here. Sometimes I'll have you make one where you'll grab a like a construction paper, you'll fold it in half, tape the sides, and you have that pocket, and that works too. But envelopes work really nice because they're not as shallow and they can be a little wider. So I'm gonna cut a little more off, and then I will talk to you here in a bit. Okay, I have my sides done, and I did notice I kind of messed up on this, so I have to go back and kind of fix it, because I should have cut this side, then this side, and then this, and then this. But right now they're all uneven, so I have to figure that out. But I'm gonna start cutting here, and another way about learning how to cut is you don't wanna keep it straight up like this, but you wanna angle this down the best that you can. I hold this off to the side, I dig down a little bit, and then I slowly can go in, pressing down and following that curve, keeping this, pretty low, because then that way it's a lot easier for this to cut, okay? And then while I might have a pencil line here and my cut is right there, you go by the cut, because that's the part that, you're gonna be running your blade through there. So I'm gonna go across here. Another nice thing about having your backup is I can always make another copy of it. So if you lose, number 31, it's easy enough to get a replacement on that. Okay, now that I have most of my pieces cut out, I don't have all of them cut out yet, but I wanted to show you the next step, is that these are branches. And I know that I want to have these black. These are the other pieces right now that I'm going to be kind of hanging off to the side. Again, you're going to put those in your envelope. But we're gonna stop for a minute. I'm gonna go over and show you where the glass is at and explain the levels again to you. And then we'll grab a piece. Hello everybody. I wanted to go over our system that we have with our stained glass. So you remember kind of what I told you in class, how it works, or if I haven't had a chance to tell you about it, this is how it works. So first down here, this is like a level 1, level 2, and level 3. Okay. Level 1 is where we get your glass at, and I take them out of these pickle jars, I put them in these white trays, and then it's easier for you to kind of get them out. Usually after we pick them out from our first project, from our practice piece, I usually try to put them back in the pickle jars. And sometimes I won't, sometimes I'll leave them out here, but this is where you try to get most of your pieces from, okay? Because it's just the only way we can really kind of do this project, because stained glass does get expensive, is we want to try to use as much as we can. So right down here is kind of our brown. So you kind of dig through here, find something that you like. And the big thing with this is you really got to pay attention to the grain that's on here. So if you notice, like on this one, the grain is going up and down, and this might not work for you because your piece might be too long. Okay, and that's fine. So this one might not work, so you leave it back in here and you try to find a piece that's in here. If you cannot, then you go up to level 2, and you do not have to ask me to go to level 2. Okay, I just want to really emphasize how important it is for you to try to find pieces in here. Okay, if you can't, that's fine. You go to this next level. So in here, you can hold this out, very carefully, and then take it back to your area. Kind of rifle through there. And most people, when they get cut kind of trying to find glass, not so much breaking it so much. So dig through here and then see if you can find a piece. I usually try to have the larger pieces in here and then kind of our smaller pieces in here. So this is supposed to go up a level with that. So then there's like this piece right here. This is a real nice yellow. So it's a cathedral, streaky kind of a glass. It has a little opalescent in there, a little transparent. This is textured on this side, very clear on this side. So remember, this should be your front. So you would not glue your piece down here. You would have to, position it underneath here and then flip it over and then just glue it, on this side. But if this is the piece you want, you take the whole thing with you. And then you kind of decide on how much of it you want, and then you just make a line here, score it, snap it, break it off, keep that smaller piece, and put the rest back in here so somebody else can use it, okay? So that's important. Next level, so our level, so level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 3 are usually they're not full sheets, they're full sheets to us. A full sheet of stained glass is usually like 3 or 4 feet, 3 feet by 3 feet. Typically, so it's around that size. And then they break it up and then they sell them in this shape right here. I'm just going to grab this blue one because it even has like a logo on there. It's a little sticker. You can just pop that right off. A lot more easier to kind of work with. Really, more than likely, it hasn't been touched on that, so you can start finding pieces up here. Now the catch with grabbing pieces on this level is I do want you to come get me, okay? Because I'm going to ask you, did you find any piece down here? You're going to say no. Do you find any pieces in here? It's like, well, I could kind of settle for this one, but I wanted to kind of just see what else you have. And that is perfectly okay, okay? I buy this glass for you to use. I don't want this falling down on you. I want to be able to get this off myself so we can have a conversation. A lot of times I might even do that first cut for you, and I might throw a large chunk back here and a smaller one down here. But I want to make sure that we have what you want. Okay. So just come get me. Don't feel bad that you say, well, I know those are the new ones, but I get them for you. So just make sure you do say something. If we don't have a color up here, that you want, at that point, understand there are hundreds of different kinds of stained glass that are out there. I go to Madison, I go to the Vinery and I buy some. Sometimes I'll go to Hobby Lobby in Dubuque. They have a section there. Stained glass can run anywhere from like when it's on clearance for like $5 to like $50 a sheet. So it really depends, on the materials and the colors that you want. It depends on how unique it is. Depends on how much of a run, they did when they made the piece. There's so many different factors, okay? And just because if you really like this one, it doesn't mean that if I don't have it here and I don't have it here, it doesn't mean you're going to find it like ever. Okay, because each one, especially these like the colorants and stuff, they make one batch, and it's not like a Crayola crayon where they're making millions of them. This might be the only one in existence, so you have to try to make sure that you have enough of the color that you want. Okay, because I cannot guarantee that you're going to be able to grab this somewhere else. Okay, so that's the kind of levels. Again, here, here, and here. Talk to me about it if you have any questions, and good luck in your project. Thanks. Okay, now that I went to my level 2, because I found this piece right here that I'm going to be using, because this is my black. It does have kind of a different look on this side than on this side. I like this side better. So I'm going to make sure that my my shape, and there is no grain to this. So I want to make sure that I have my piece facing this way, so that I know that this is exactly how I want it. Because 8 means that this is up. If this was heavily textured, I would set it down on the other side, get it where I want to, and then I would attach it right there, so I can make sure that I get that where I want. So I'm going to shift these over a little bit. The way that you're going to attach this is you're going to take glue, and you already have one of these in your container, and you're going to kind of coat this, and then you're going to attach it onto here. So I'm going to grab this piece. Try not to get excess glue on here. Have like a scrap sheet of paper. I'm going to grab this piece right here. And I'm going to put glue on this, the front and the back. I'm going to kind of smear it with my fingers so it gets all the excess off. And then I'm going to set it down where I want to have it. I'm going to go right up to this edge, because remember, we want to do our best let's see if I get some of that excess off there. You want to do your best not to have a bunch of excess glue on this. So this is good, because I'm using that line here, so this won't be too hard to cut out. I have my direction line. It doesn't matter at all because I have that. I'm going to grab this next piece, do the same thing. The glue in the back is the most important. Glue in the front isn't as important. It's just supposed to help kind of make it a little more waterproof. Grab this next one. I'm going to stick this right here. Now this is where you got to be careful, because you need to be able to cut these out. And remember, when you start cutting glass, you can go straight, you can kind of curve just a little bit, but you cannot go and then cut like that. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. So I can't stick a piece right here because I can't necessarily cut this, because all of a sudden hit that. It won't work. Okay, so you got to make sure that you don't leave this barrier. And there's always a very clear path for you to cut these pieces out individually. Now, you might say, well, can I cut along here first? Yeah, you can. That would work perfectly well, unless you got like everything on here and then you've all of a sudden thrown a piece right here. Then it won't work. But then you might say, well, what if I were to, line up pieces along here so I can do a straight line cut here, then a cut across here. Yeah, then you're thinking. So you gotta find some way to have a path. Now, if you mess up on it, you won't be able to pull these off nearly as easily. So you'll have to be able to, grab your back up, and you'll have to make a new shape. And it's not like I would take this and you would have to go back and I'd make another copy of that. You'd have to take this and use our light table and kind of hand draw one and cut that out. Okay. So otherwise, I'm going to kind of finish cutting these up, and then these adhere pretty fast. So easily within like an hour, you could actually start cutting these up if you wanted to come in. Otherwise, the next day they'd be fine. And what's cool about it is you just cut along here. You leave that on there, and you know exactly where your line is at. You don't have to worry about trying to trace something out like that out. So hopefully that helps. Ask me if you have any questions. You have any, and ask me in class, and just good luck on this part of the project. Remember, if you didn't already know, if you are really struggling with a piece, I will help you cut one piece out. Okay, so if there's one you're really kind of dreading, let me know and I can try to help you out with it. Okay, good luck on the project. Thanks.